français ou en anglais?
En anglais, s'il vous plaît.
Alright, each team has a total of 24 minutes to present its cases to the judge. I will hold up a sign for the last 12, 7, and 2 minutes, as well as the last 30 seconds of the presentation. During the last 10 seconds, I will indicate with my fingers the number of seconds remaining past it. If you have not finished your presentation after 24 minutes, you will be stopped in order to proceed with the Q&A period. The Q&A period of a maximum of 4 minutes is allocated to the judge at the end of the presentation. Please note that at any time you cannot say or reference the name or location of a leading person. You may start when ready.
As a leading communications company in Canada, you've been able to really offer a differentiated service. A differentiated service that has really offered you a chance to excel in the nation and really offer high quality premium products. However, you've noticed it. There's more and more competition which is threatening you. And at the same time, you have been successful, but what we want to do today, Team L, consisting of Aurélie, Alex, and myself, Ariane, is really to take it one step further. Take your current success, leverage it, and bring it further. More precisely though, we actually have the mandate here is to really unite all your key packages, including your wireline, your wireless, TV, data, and media, and really integrate them together in order to maximize your profits, revenues as a whole.
So in short, what we recommend to you today, and what we've come here to discuss with you today, is how you can distinguish yourself from the competition by focusing on innovations in your products and in your customer service. Now to get started, let's take a look at what the key issues are here today. First of all, we have the fact that, of course, there's the competition. It's an extremely competitive market, and one of the things that we know, is currently happening in the market now is you've introduced Fibe TV, which uses fiber optic technology to bring higher quality TV and internet service to your customers. And this has been a great success. However, now your competition is reacting to this. So one of the things you have to do is preempt your competition here and keep the momentum moving forward. Now next year, we also have the fact that in the past, for example, your biggest competitive advantage was your huge wireline infrastructure network. However, one of the things that is burning you down is the fact that there are currently very high costs associated with this, very high capital expenditures. Now the second key issue here is we have the regulatory situation. So first of all, there is your current pending acquisition of Astral Media. However, in addition to that, there's also the fact that the CRTC is having a meeting the next month for the Wireless Code of Conduct, which will potentially be introduced and will change the way wireless companies, of which Bell Mobility, your subsidiary, is a member of, will do business in the future. And as well, this will affect potentially any future acquisitions you may choose to make, such as the Astral Media, and as we've seen, this has been a strategy for you in the past for growth. And finally, this brings us on to one of the really key issues here that is taking place in society, is the technological advancement that we see moving forward. Now, in short, what this means is that customers are changing the way they view telecommunications and devices that they use to view it. And so what this means is that traditional forms of media are not as important, and new ones are currently being developed and are constantly in development. And now, what this also results in is that there's also lower barriers to entry, which again plays back into competition, meaning that new lower-cost carriers can now enter the market, especially in the wireless section. So there are some threats there. Now let's move right into a more detailed look at the industry. Now first of all, the telecommunications industry is very large in Canada. It's worth over $60 billion, and it has seen steady growth. Even though in some segments it has been decreasing, such as in the wireline segments, overall the industry has been growing as a whole, and this is expected to continue. Now, however, those companies that do invest highly in wireline also have high investments necessary due to the fact that there's very low population density here in Canada, and so the population is very spread out. So you do require higher infrastructure necessary than, for example, in other countries with a similar population size. And also there's the fact that in Canada here, the industry is regulated by the CRTC, as I mentioned earlier, and this can have an impact on company strategy because they can take direct action in order to prevent, for example, acquisitions. Now, perhaps more importantly, here's the consumer trends. Now, there are over 13 million households in Canada. That means there are a lot of consumers, and these make up 50% of the industry, the other 50% being businesses. What we're seeing here is that unlike businesses who need wire phones at all times because they need to have one central number for customers to call, residential customers are actually moving away from this. What we're seeing is what's actually currently called, or commonly called, home phone erosion. So people are either going more with only wireless phones for in their home, or some companies are offering services through voice over internet protocol, VoIP. And what this means is that now we have the emergence of wireless-only homes. So for a company like yourself, for Bell, this can have strategic implications in the short and long term, moving forward. Now taking a look at your competitive landscape, your three biggest competitors in Canada right now, TELUS, Rogers, and Videotron. Now what's interesting about each of these is that yes, they're all very large companies, Videotron being the smallest here, but they're all present in many different markets just as you are. We know that you operate in wireline, wireless services. We also have Bell Media, and there's also your Bell Alliance subsidiary, which focuses on a specific region in Canada, which is mainly the Atlantic and regional Quebec and Ontario. What separates the three of these is that none of them, however, offer all the same packages that you offer. So for example, if you take a look at TELUS, they're present in wireline, wireless, and internet services, but they do not offer, they do not have, say, a media division, unlike Rogers and Videotron and yourself. Now they also include a low-cost provider, which is Kudo here, which means that any kind of strategic imperative that focuses on cost leadership will be potentially affected by their response to that. Just looking through Kudo, which is very strong right now. And if you take a look at Rogers, they don't offer wireline. That's what separates them. They're very heavily present in the wireless division. As you can see here, it takes up more than 55% of their sales. They're heavily reliant on that. And that could really be called their core competency. And finally, we have Videotron, which really has its hands in every basket, as we say. However, what separates it is that it is much smaller from the other three competitors, yourself, Rogers, and TELUS, and it's really focused on Quebec, where they've been able to achieve massive market penetration, specifically in their cable segment. Now, what this means is that, let's take a look at where Bell stands in relation to all this. Now, since 2008, you've successfully transitioned into more what we call these growth-centric sectors in the telecommunications industry. So in other words, you've moved away slightly from wireline services and more towards wireless, internet, data, and also media with your acquisition of CTV, which is now Bell Media. And what this has done is that now you generate over $20 billion in revenues over the last year alone. And it does make you the leader in the telecommunications industry overall. However, there are two key important facets to consider here before we move on. First of all, I mentioned earlier that your competitive advantage has been in the wireline segment. However, technological advancements means that this is potentially less feasible in the long run. Now, you have identified this and you have reacted by introducing 5TV, which does actually use your infrastructure. We'll go into that more in detail. This can be very important moving forward. And second, we have what's called the consumer perception of your customer service has not always been stellar. So that will be something that you will need to address moving forward, or it could affect you negatively. Now, just taking a look at your organizational structure here, to make it more easy to follow here, what we mean by your different segments. Your main three are your wireless, your wireline, your four main segments, are wireless, media, Alliant, and your wireline. And your wireline, which is shown here, which is very basic, is just your wired telephone services as well as your 5TV and internet. And you can see here that they focus on different areas, and what this means is that any strategy you have moving forward really needs to integrate these. As we talked about at the beginning of the presentation, you can't just focus on one specific section and expect it to power the whole enterprise as a whole. And what is most effective, as we've seen from many other companies in the past, it's really to have an integrated campaign that uses the strengths and leverages them of all these segments. And moving forward here, we'll take a look at the positioning map and where you're at in relation to your competitors. Now what we've done here is we've broken this down. It's a very interesting graph here. First of all, we have the customer perception. Okay, and this is perception of quality of customer service. It's many factors. And then on the bottom here, you have the difference between more specialized companies and more full service. So because you offer all the services, all the baseline services in telecommunications, including media, you are the furthest around this graph, and you're also the largest. However, we can see here there is an opportunity in moving up towards the upper spectrum because most of your competitors outrank you in terms of customer perception. And we can see here what's importantly, if you take a look at Videotron, which is represented by the small VT up there, we can see that their customer service campaign that they've instituted, especially through television, has been very successful in improving customers' perception of their services. Now that brings us down to our entities here, which are going to be broken down, which are going to be going over more in detail in our alternative section and how it reckons each of these, which is going to be covered by Ohana.
Thank you, Alex.
So yes, you are a huge entity. You are Bell Communications Enterprise, and you comprise 4 businesses. Most would think that you would need to operate in 4 different strategies in order to really complete your operations in the future. But we believe that you need to get an integrated strategy in order to make sure that in the future, when your consumer thinks of Bell, they think of a complete package. So your options here can be comprised in 2. Will you be a cost leader at heart? Will you be offering promotions, frequent new marketing with competitive bundles and services, offering TV, internet, and telephone, but basic? This will increase customer base since you will be more accessible. Will you be an innovator at all costs? You'll have innovative packages, you will improve on R&D, and make sure that no matter what new products you introduce, it will be differentiated from your competitor because it will be high-tech, state-of-the-art technology. That will increase revenue per user. So we need to see here the difference. It's either go with increasing your customer base or increasing your average revenue per user. In deciding your strategy, you need to consider 4 things. Competition, how much better will you be compared to your competitor? Long-term growth, you need to be sustainable, you need to go for the long haul. Risk, the potential for a successful venture, and your profitability. What are the returns and how will it really affect your profit margin? Our key criteria here is competition. We know that you're operating in an industry that's fiercely competitive. There are lower barriers to entry, and you need to make sure that tomorrow you will be at the forefront of this technology. So in assessing cost leadership, what do we see? There is a greater market penetration. You will be more accessible indeed. But what does that imply? You will have unrelieved fixed costs. You're operating in an industry where fixed costs are higher. You're a big player. You're on all fronts. So you need to make sure that no matter how much you increase expenditure, you need to get those returns. Less customer service importance, because you'll be offering a more basic service. People will be going to a store to get the cheapest bundle they can get, and the customer service won't matter as much. Fierce competition. How many other competitors are operating on price? You're in technology. There are lower barriers to entry, so tons more companies can offer a lower price and the same exact service. Utilizing your full potential. You have Bell pipelines everywhere. So in order to make the use of that, you need to introduce the new technologies everywhere. Having a lower cost bundle will not allow you to do that. Assessing innovation. Where will you be? You have increased R&D investment. We do understand it's higher cost. You will have to educate your consumers on these new technologies, but the real advantage here is that you have a more integrated service. You'll have the whole package. You will be everywhere. Your innovation will not be comparable to anybody else. You're a technology leader. You have the funds to invest in R&D, and you will have the funds to adapt to whatever new trends the market brings along. You will be differentiated, and above all, you will have that stable base in order to communicate the new acquisition of technology. So you'll be able to really tell your consumer that, hey, we're here to modify our product according to what you want. Our community, we are serving the community, and we are Bell, the community company. So your option here is really innovation at all costs. We think that that's the direction you should take, and this is what you should prioritize. Improving on innovation. Presenting yourself to your consumer as the innovative company. So our recommendation to you today is distinguish yourself from your competitor by focusing on innovation and really product innovation. And that will be done through better customer service and improving on our 5 imperatives.
So let's delve right in here to implementation, the fun part. How are we going to really delve into all these tactical strategies in order to implement this? So first off, this is the 5-year plan, which is divided up into improving, developing, and then finally maximizing. So as already mentioned, what we want to improve here is really the overall customer experience. The overall customer experience can be improved, whether it be through your customer service. You've already done amazing efforts. However, you don't feel like people are realizing it enough just yet. Also, your pricing transparency. We do understand that right now there's new regulations that are going to come on board, and we do have recommendations for you in order to follow them. And finally, offering complete bundles. You want to be the best solution, the best complete package for any customer that wants this innovation. Then, developing. This is where you want to communicate. You want to communicate all these improvements that you've taken on hand, that you've developed. You want to communicate it to the people and to your current customers, whether it be the businesses or whether it be residential customers. And finally, you want to maximize. So you're good at differentiating yourself through high quality service, an integrated bundle that's differentiated. Well, you're going to have to continue and maintain that, which means that you're going to have to continue investing in R&D, continue innovating, and we have a couple of days of paths that you might follow. So let's dive right in over here to improving, the first year. So we've divided this up into 3 focuses. The first one is customer service, as we mentioned previously. So like we mentioned, you've already improved, such as focusing a lot on call center training. However, we want you to take it one step further. This one step further here is the online chat on Bell. It's good, make it even more accessible. But really what we want to underline is this app. This app right now, with all your mobile phones, you've noticed there's a lot of smartphone users. If you can create an app that is automatically on every single Bell phone, which offers this customer service support, you will be able to tap into that, and they won't have a choice but to see how supportive you are. And finally, create a 1-minute review. A 1-minute review at the end of every single phone call with your customer representatives provides a 5-star rating, and you'll see how later we'll encourage customers to really take part in this and enjoy doing so. Now, focus number 2. Focus number 2 here is the customizable bundles. Now this is where it actually really gets fun, because you already have bundles which are divided up to best, better, big, but we really want you, once again, take it one step further. What do we mean here? We want you to create the Bell customer profile, which means that they can go on to the Bell website, and a customer, for instance, Julie, logs on, creates her own profile, and the first thing she needs to do is answer a simple 15-question questionnaire with questions that are fun, that are easy, that can be such questions such as what devices do you own at home? So smartphones, TV, laptops, or how often do you watch movies at home? So what you really want to do here is identify what is their media usage, what do they want, try to target their preferences, and at the end of this small questionnaire, not only will they feel like you're actually trying to communicate to them and actually understand their needs, but at the same time you'll offer them a customizable bundle. And to go one step further once again, you, at the end of every single month, will offer a different bundle that's adapted according to the different usage that they've demonstrated across the month, whether it be through internet, whether it be through mobile or TV. So this is the second focus. Now moving on to the third focus, it's the creating pricing transparency. So we do understand that there's a CRTC hearing happening in February, which is critical, and we know that you're on board with it, and we really want you to follow the standards and be proactive in developing them. Be proactive, and really it's the elimination of bill shocks. Because after all, a lot of people right now at Bell have this customer perception that there's hidden fees. We want to eliminate that, and it's through the second step that we're really going to communicate it to the customers so that they know that you're being proactive with it. Which ties right into the second step, developing, 1 to 3 years. So here it's really a full-fledged communication strategy, which will be targeted both to the residential customers as well as your businesses. So for residential, it's a 3-tier communication strategy, which over here is educate, engage, and retain. Because ultimately that's what you want, right? You want to educate customers on how you've changed your service, how you improved it actually. Then you also want to engage with them. You want more customers, and you want to keep the current customers that you have in order to really maximize your profits and your customer perception. And finally, businesses really through sales rep. So delving right into the residential, what's critical here is educate. On what? As we've mentioned, complete offering. You have the highest quality 5, this technology right now that a lot of competitors are quite jealous of. You need to tell your customers that you have this, and that you're focusing on transparency, on no hidden fees, that you have amazing customer service, and you're doing everything you possibly can to offer the best package. So this big campaign here is going to be called Did You Notice? Or in French, Avez-vous remarqué? So you want it to be full-fledged, you want it to be across Canada, and you really want to spark curiosity. You want to get people talking. And it's really to make people, once again, aware that you offer a package like no other. More specifically, what we want is for you to target these, basically you're targeting the general population. So whether it be public transportation, such as buses and metros, whether it be, you can use your current resources, such as La Source, all your La Source holdings, all the Bell Center on your website, TV ads. You have the budget for it, you have the presence, and what we want, if I can just give you a brief example, for instance, of a TV ad in a bus station, you really want these words, did you notice, in blue, to be big. You want to catch attention, and at the bottom, you want this link to your website. You want to give the message that Bell is now bigger, better, you've improved for your customer. Visit how at your website. And moving on, what you also want to do is to engage with them. Once again, did you notice? You want to be consistent with your image. You want people to, once again, gain curiosity. But you're engaging with them, especially smartphone users, in all the different festivals. You're already very, very present in festivals such as Festival d'été Québec, Blues Festival. You already have Blues. What we want you to do now is really once again, take it one step further and, and engage with them and really give them the opportunity to try the 5 network that you have. Give them the opportunity to watch and try the smartphones. And ultimately, offer the opportunity for contests. There's a contest that you can throw on the spot, which is a contest where, for instance, you can do one-on-one, where 2 people have to spot the differences, and it could be the title, Did You Notice? So once again, it could be a challenge of speed, which links directly to the speed of your network, which is very different than others. Just a couple of examples. And also, you ultimately want to link it to an online contest, which links your customers to your website, so they'll get the opportunity to maybe create their own profile, answer the questionnaire. So everything really ties back together. And finally, retain. So over here, your customers now, we assume, are on board. They're on board with Bell. And we want to retain them by accumulating Bell points. So we don't want them to switch from one company to another. We want them to understand that they have the complete package. And they accumulate Bell points. So every renewal, 100 points. Every added service, 10 points. Every customer feedback they give, because you do care about the customer feedback, you do want to improve, is 10 points. So once again, it's communicating, it's being transparent, and it's really sharing with them and involving with them. And at the same time, what we do notice, and what's important with the rest of our analysis, is the fact that we do understand that the acquisition of Astral didn't work out as you'd expected recently, and we do understand that it's vital for you for it to work in the near future. And the best thing for you is to really communicate with the community and for the community to be on board with you. And we do believe that this is the key, that these are all key elements that will help you reach this. And finally, business-wise. Now, we can't forget business because this is also a key part of your business. And over here, what we really want to do is through sales reps. But really, train them and instill this mentality that customer satisfaction is key. It's not just getting a sale, it's not just getting a client, it's getting repeat orders, and it's making sure that customers are happy with their bundles and that they understand how Bell offers this complete integrated package with the highest quality that they can't get anywhere else. The fact that you're always leading, you're always the most innovative. And this is really what you want to do, create this special bundle, and also target small businesses, which can furthermore help you get on the good side of the community, because you can actually create these small business discount programs, kind of like the corporate programs, but for small businesses. So that's also another thing that could help you a lot. And finally, maximize. So this is forward-looking. I mean, once again, it's general in the sense that you do want to maximize your research and development. These are just 2 quick ideas that we found that are brand new, they're up and coming in the wireless. It's the NFC, which is tap and go, which means it's super secure super secure Wi-Fi sharing without any passwords. And finally, the 802.11 AC, which is more for those that are adept with videos. So once again, you want to be on the cutting edge of technology. These are just 2 ideas, but you can definitely find more. And if you really want to stay on touch with all these new smartphone users.
So before we conclude, there's just a couple things we want to recap. So through the process of our implementation, we hope we made several things clear. First of all, there are several things that are important to consider when it comes to any telecommunications company, and those are the key success factors in the industry. First of all, one of the things we focus on is increasing a higher average revenue per user here, and what we want to do through that is increasing the amount of services that you offer to customers and that they have through Bell, which is what really your competitive advantage is now, which is that you offer all the full range of services that they could possibly have, and that's something no other company can do. And there's also the importance of the community perception of the company, and that's in terms of customer service as well as corporate social responsibility, which is important for A, your company perception in the long run, and B, also, as my colleague mentioned, your eventual acquisition of Astral Media. Now finally, we also have the fact that there's always the improved technology, and this is something you do need to stay running with, and that is why we also have our recommendations on trying to stay up to date as much as possible with them. Now very quickly, we do have some financials to go through here, but what I really want to draw your attention to is the fact that as of right now, we will be seeing here an increase in your operating costs and capital expenditures, a very slight percentage, and that reason is really because of these initiatives that we believe you do need to take on in addition to your current initiatives to improve customer perception and product innovation. At this point in time, we'd like to open the floor to any questions, and thank you for listening.
So I have a question. You talk a lot about having an openness on the prices, and, reducing pricing to build loyalty and so on and so forth. Knowing we have 20 million subscribers on our different products and services, being the biggest one in Canada, playing around with pricing is very tricky being the biggest player because, a dollar per month is $20 million less a month come in. With the request of the high demand of CapEx in our industry, how do you balance both? Do we take a hit and slow down our innovation in order to fix our pricing strategy to make it, equal to everybody? Or how would you approach that?
So really what it is that we are, first of all, you do have the industry-leading expenditure on CapEx, especially in R&D. What we're really what we need to focus on is the fact that it's not just developing new technology necessarily through your current R&D expenditures, but also improving on customer service and innovation. So taking more a customer-centric focus on that side of things. So there is a slight increase in expenditures, however, we do believe that it's actually outbalanced by the higher number of customers that you will be acquiring and your greater market share in the household market as well as businesses. So that's the way we believe you could supplement that.
Okay.
I have the same question.
Thank you very much. Good job.
Oh, picture, it's true.